going on, everyone? DSP here, and welcome to the weekend preview for July 31st, 2011. Very special weekend preview this week because this week is going to be an unprecedented event. I am officially announcing right now in this video that I am calling this next week coming up, which is the first week of August, Mega Week. And the reason I'm calling it Mega Week is for a couple of reasons. The primary reason, which I've kind of hinted at already in some previous videos, but it's that I'm going to be doing a Megaman marathon on the NES. There's really no real retail releases this week worth playing or anything that's really notable. Nothing that I'm interested in. And knowing that I had this downtime, I said, gee, what could I do to really, spice up this time when it normally would be just like filler. And I thought maybe I'll do a fan appreciation week, but some of the games, honestly, that I have that I could have done that are getting a little bit old. And at the same time, I really feel that people enjoy new content as opposed to maybe just watching me play online gameplay with some other people, especially if it's games I've already played online before. So what I'm going to be doing is a Mega Man marathon on my actual original NES, and I would bring it in here to show it to you, but it's kind of fragile at this point. Kind of all the stars aligned to make this thing happen. Okay, well, first of all, I want to show you, over the past several months, I've been accumulating a collection of the original Mega Man games on the NES. Now what you might see here, I don't know if you can really read these or not, is I am missing one. I'm missing Mega Man 5, and there's a story behind that, okay? I've been going to gaming conventions and such, ended up picking up Mega Man 1, 2, and I think 4 at conventions, and then Mega Man 3 and 6 I bought online on certain places. Well, I also did order Mega Man 5 online from this particular website, and that was over 2 weeks ago, and they immediately emailed me and said, we don't have Mega Man 5 in stock, but for someone sending it to us, we'll have it within a week, and then we'll let you know, when it's on its way to you. So I waited and waited and waited, and then it's still, as of Friday, I still didn't hear anything, and I was like, what the hell's going on? So I go to the website and I check, and everything's outdated. All the information on the website says, oh, they still didn't get the game yet and all this. So I'm pretty pissed about it, to be completely honest. I paid good money for it. It's one of the rarest of the Mega Man games, and it's actually pretty pricey to find. And so I'm pretty mad that I paid that much. And I actually had paid for like 3-day shipping because I knew I wanted it here in time for the marathon. And it's just still not here. So I sent them an email on Friday. Honestly, I'm not really expecting too much out of them to be able to get that game here in time this week. So there is good news, though. The good news is two things. Number one, my NES, I hooked it up yesterday when John Rambo was here, and we were having lots of problems. It seems like all these games do work, but as you know, if you have an NES, which a lot of people do not, I mean most people do not, most of them conked out, or were kind of hocked off or sold off or destroyed back in the day when people thought NES was outdated, and now of course they're a collector's item. But as they get older, they have problems with booting games, and they have problems with security, meaning a lot of the times you'll put a cartridge in and it's a valid cartridge, and the system will just blink, 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 and never boot your game. And the thing is, when the NES gets old, it has this copy protection built into it, and it thinks that you're trying to boot a bootleg game. And we were having this problem. It was taking like 15 minutes to get a game to boot because we were just like farting around with the cartridge. And then finally we went online and it says, well, there's two solutions. You can either completely disassemble your NES and disable the protection features in the NES, which is like a nightmare project of taking it apart and welding things and soldering things. Or it said, actually, if you get a Game Genie, you can actually bypass all that, because the Game Genie completely bypasses region locking, copy protection, all of that. And I said, gee, I wonder if there's any way I could get a Game Genie, but then I realized I wanted to do Mega Week probably the first week of August, and I didn't know if I was going to get one in time. And all of a sudden yesterday we went out to eat, John and I, and as we're leaving where we were eating, we look across the street, and there's a brand new Games Exchange store sitting there, grand opening, come in. We walk in there, they have all these classic games, all this classic, stuff, and a Game Genie sitting right there for pristine condition for $15. And I'm like, wow, the stars have aligned, luck is really, in my favor this week anyway. So I picked up the Game Genie, came home, plugged it in, and now every single game boots on the first time. So amazing luck. So because of that, we're going to be able to do a Mega Week, Mega Man Marathon Week. Now, the other thing is, as I said, I don't have Mega Man 5. So what am I going to do? if worse comes to worse and I can't get Mega Man 5, the actual cartridge, in time, it actually was just released last month on the Virtual Console for Wii. So what I'll do is I'll download it for Virtual Console, go plug that Wii into my older tube-style TV, and we'll do it that way. So it'll still be the same, I just won't technically have the cartridge, and I won't be playing on an NES controller, which kind of sucks, because NES controller is an amazing control scheme. It's like one of the most responsive controllers ever made in the history of gaming. And I have an actual NES controller that was rebuilt, so it's really nice, it works well. And I'm really looking forward to playing these games. It's going to be a lot of fun, a blast from the past. Some of these I've never even played. I played Mega Man 2, 3, and 4. Those were the 3 that I actually owned when I was a kid. I never played 1, 5, or 6. So it's going to be like retrospect for 3 games, and then for 2 it's going to be like, wow, it's actually playing new games to me. And the reason I'm doing this is because I think, number one, a lot of people have asked me to do retro games, and I think this is a great opportunity to do so. Number 2, because I love Mega Man. I think it's one of the best series of all time. Number 3, because Capcom's been treating Mega Man like shit, and basically just canceled Mega Man Generations and Mega Man Legends 3, which really kind of pisses me off. I think that he deserves better than that, and maybe they should worry a little bit more about, you know, taking care of their classic franchises that made them so much money over the years, rather than making another fucking version of Marvel 3 already. But I think a lot of people have already talked about that, so I won't get into that too much. But, yeah, and it's just a really neat way to fill up the downtime, and I think a lot of people really enjoyed when I played Mega Man 10 last year. A lot of people said it was really good, and, you know, the Mass Defect made this really great classic remix song of that, and I think it's one of my favorite remixes of all time that was ever done with my gameplay. And so, you know, it just makes sense. Everything, the stars, like I said, the stars have aligned to make this happen, and so that's what I'm going to be doing this week, Monday through Friday. Now, there's more going on than that, okay? In addition to all of that, playing 6 Mega Man games this week, which I'm going to try to finish Monday through Friday. Today, I'm going to try to complete, well, I probably will, I don't see any reason why I won't, but I'm going to beat the last episode of the Back to the Future game series. It was released last week on the PlayStation Network, but I had other retail releases, including Catherine, which was a giant release, to get through. And so I'm going to do that and complete that today. Really excited for that, because the first 4 episodes, I enjoyed every single one of them. In this case, Michael J. Fox, who has played Marty McFly in the movies, actually returns to do a voice in this final episode. And so I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm thinking it's going to probably be a very good way to close off the series. Now, this also means a couple other things. It means that I've beaten Back to the Future, and I can do a Hateful Truth review on it. But a lot of people have been saying, Phil, what about this game that you now have pretty much done everything for? What about this game that you've pretty much done everything for? You're going to do Hateful Truths. This week is the perfect opportunity for me to do a whole bunch of Hateful Truth videos, because, again, I'm not rushing through to beat a bunch of retail games that need to be beat this week. And traditionally, these Mega Man games, okay, maybe it'll take 5 hours to beat, you know what I mean? They don't take a long time to beat. So I think this is a great opportunity for me to do that, plus get a lot of Hateful Truths out of the way that I've wanted to do. So what Hateful Truths am I going to be doing this week? Well, I'm definitely going to do Back to the Future, because I think that's a game, it's been 7 months now since I've been playing it. Literally, the first episode came out in January, and I've been playing episode after episode after episode as they've been released over the past 7 months. That game definitely deserves a full review over the body of work that's been those 5 episodes. So I'm going to do that. Some of the games that have been requested the most. So, yes, everyone, calm the hell down. I'm going to do a Hateful Truth on Catherine. Just you have to give me some time. As soon as I beat the game, people were going nuts. Why did you do a Hateful Truth? Calm the fuck down, alright? I do have a schedule. I do have a life. I have things that are going on. I didn't have time to rush out a Hateful Truth review of Catherine at that time. I will be doing it this week. So we're going to do that. And you might say, well, Phil, you didn't do the co-op gameplay. How can you do a review of Catherine? The co-op gameplay is exactly the same as the single-player gameplay. Unfortunately, I'm never going to be able to play the co-op gameplay because I would need to find someone who I know who has played through the whole game like I have and has had the experience with the puzzles. If I were to play with Rambo or someone else who hasn't played this game, I'm going to whoop their ass because they are just learning the gameplay while I've played, 15 hours of this game. So, no, there will not be any co-op gameplay of Catherine, but I will factor in my Hateful Truth review that there is co-op gameplay in that game. L.A. Noire, and I'm going to be reviewing the game itself, the campaign, okay? I'm not going to be reviewing 100 DLCs that have come out because, number one, it's not fair because not everyone can get their hands on those DLCs. And number two, I haven't had time to play them. And a lot of people, again, ask me, Phil, are you going to do the DLCs? Why don't you do DLCs? Listen, the DLCs are just additional cases. It's not like they're adding any significant things to the gameplay. It's going to be you go to the case, you look for clues, you find suspects, you interrogate the suspects, you either accuse them or whatever, the case ends. It's not going to add to the story, it's not going to do anything significant, and therefore I don't think there's a reason for me to even play the DLCs. And I'll talk a little bit about what I think about this game in the Hateful Truth review. I honestly think this game is overrated. I think it was a good game, but I don't think it's as good as a lot of the other stuff that Rockstar's put out, and I think that people just overhype it because it's a Rockstar game. But I digress. We'll talk about that when I get to the review. MotorStorm Apocalypse. This game now, I've beaten all 3 campaigns, all 3 difficulty levels, and I've played the game online. So I think it's a great opportunity for me to talk about this game in a Hateful Truth review. Captain America Super Soldier, which I feel is a very underrated playthrough of mine. I actually really enjoyed playing this game because it was so funny to make fun of, and I really enjoyed doing that. To the point where I think it's probably one of my best playthroughs of the year. I'm not even kidding. I think it really is one of my best playthroughs of 2011 so far. And if you haven't seen it, I do recommend you at least check out a couple of the episodes. But standard movie tie-in game, maybe a little bit better than some of the other movie tie-ins I've played this year. But we'll talk about it in the Hateful Truth review. Transformers Dark of the Moon, another movie tie-in game, and one that I've had the opportunity to play through the entire campaign and the online gameplay. So I think I have enough experience with it to actually go ahead and do a Hateful Truth review of it. And then last but not least, F.E.A.R 3. I've now had an opportunity to play through the single-player campaign and do full co-op with John Rambo, so I can really give it a fair shake. I can tell you this, after I played the co-op, my opinion of the game has gone up significantly. But the only thing I can't talk about in this game, and you might be surprised or whatever at this, but I can't review the online gameplay. And the reason is, I'm not even kidding you. There have been 3 separate occasions when it was a day when I didn't have a retail release to play, and I said, I'm going to try to do the F.E.A.R 3 online play today so that I can do a Hateful Truth. I can't fucking find anyone to play. I sit there in the matchmaking menu, waiting and waiting and waiting. And sometimes, very rarely, it connects to a match, and usually it's 1 or 2 other people, and the connection is god-awful. But for the most part, I haven't been able to get a match in. So what that means, what that really entails, is that, was the online gameplay good? Was it bad? I don't know. But no one's playing it anymore, and therefore there's no way I can factor in a review. And honestly, the online gameplay shouldn't even factor into my Hateful Truth, because if you can't play the online play, then it shouldn't be a part of the quality of the game and the score that I give it. And that's unfortunate, because I heard this game has a lot of actual interesting online modes, including one called Fucking Run, where you're running from a wall of death that's coming at you, and some other stuff. And I was looking forward to it. In fact, there was actually a code that came with this to unlock an exclusive multiplayer mode, and I had redeemed it and everything, and I can't use it. And I don't know, again, is that a testament to the fact that maybe the online play wasn't that good and it didn't hook people, and so they stopped playing it after the first 2 weeks of launch? Because it was about roughly just under a month after this game was released that I tried to play it online for the first time, and I couldn't find anybody. So, or maybe just the matchmaking sucks. Maybe the matchmaking is just horrendous, in which case, again, that should factor into my review, and I can't answer that question for you because I haven't been able to play the game online. So, all those games, plus Back to the Future, I have the potential to do a Hateful Truth on. Now, I can tell you this, out of all the, I'm definitely going to do Back to the Future and Catherine, okay? Hateful Truths don't take a lot of time for me to make because, as you know, I haven't been doing special effects, I haven't been doing game footage or whatever. I just sit here and talk about the game, and I think it's a lot more valuable to you to just hear my honest opinions about the game rather than wait for me to edit it and do all fancy shit, and it takes forever and it takes up a lot of time to do. And since I have so many to do this week, I'm going to go back to the style of the way I was doing them in the fall and the last quarter of last year, where I would just talk about the game and give my honest opinions about the game and give it a fair score. So, big week just between the Megaman marathon I'm going to do and the Hateful Truths, but that's not all. That's not even all I'm doing this week, okay? Last but not least, on Saturday, John Rambo will be coming over again. We're going to do another episode of Smart Guys that'll go up on his YouTube channel, John Rambo Presents. But in addition to that, he said, "Gee, Phil, I actually have Super Mario Brothers on the Wii, and he's played through it once, but he says, you know, why don't we do a co-op playthrough of that?" And he's mentioned it a couple times, and now we finally got to the point where we've done a lot of the co-op stuff that's been available to us the past couple of weeks, and we said, hey, this might be a good time to do it. So if everything works out, you're going to see a full playthrough, or at least a partial playthrough of New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii that John Rambo and I are going to do. And we thought, gee, should we do 4-player? And there's a couple reasons we don't want to do 4-player co-op. The first is that the game actually gets harder when you do 4-player because there's so many people on the screen, you start hitting each other by accident and knocking each other off ledges, and the game can actually take a lot longer to beat. And number 2, we're not sure if we can even, find people in this area who have like a Saturday off from work. Unfortunately, a lot of our friends who we game with, they work on weekends. So, and that includes Howard, and we're considering my friend Justin, and we're like, damn, they're probably going to be busy. So we figured, you know what, we'll just do 2-player and try to get through the game. So, all that coming up this week. I know that's a lot, so remember, today, Back to the Future completes, episode 5. Tomorrow, Monday, starts the Mega Marathon for Mega Week. You're going to have Mega Man 1 gameplay, you're going to have a Hateful Truth review, and depending, maybe there'll be 2 Hateful Truths, or maybe I'll start Mega Man 2. It depends on how long it takes for me to beat Mega Man 1. And then every single day this week, you're going to see me playing a new Mega Man game, plus another Hateful Truth review, so at least one a day. At least one Mega Man game a day, and one Hateful Truth a day. It all depends on how long it takes me. So that's going all through this week, Monday through Friday. Now, on Friday, the Resistance 3 beta is supposed to be released, but it's not my fault that I had time last week to do it, and the beta got delayed. That's 2 companies' fault. Insomniac Games, because they're responsible for the beta, and Sony, because Insomniac has said the reason they had to delay the beta is because PSN was down for a month, and they had to do other things to figure out how to make it work. So, there's nothing I could do about that. I'm probably going to be so busy with this stuff, I'm not going to be able to do the Resistance 3 beta right away. Now, some people have said, Phil, people are already playing the Resistance 3 beta. Well, that is true. There's 2 groups that got into it. The first group are the friends and family of Insomniac. They actually gave out codes for their friends and family to try out this beta. And then in addition to that, there was actually a couple days where Insomniac fucked up and allowed people who had bought SOCOM 4 to enter their codes and download Resistance 3 beta early. Like before the date where they were even supposed to be able to play it originally. And so people have been playing it for weeks right now, and people have been seeing other people playing it on PSN saying, gee, why can't Phil get it, and why can't I get it with my code if other people got it? It was a mistake, but Insomniac said, listen, we're not going to kick people off that are already in it. So I can't play it till Friday. More than likely, that's going to get pushed till next week. That's something I'm going to do next week, okay? And the last thing I want to talk about is the Battlefield 3 Alpha. A handful of people have sent me codes to do the Battlefield 3 Alpha because they don't have gaming PCs that are up to the par of playing this game. I'm probably not going to do any footage on it, and the reason is they don't want people to record it. I have no fucking idea why, and if you want my honest opinion, I think people should contact the developers of Battlefield 3 and say, are you out of your fucking mind? If you want this game to be hyped up, you need people to be recording footage of it and putting it on the internet so people can see how good it is and that it is better, or how it is better than Modern Warfare. And that's exactly what they should be doing. This should be an internet guerrilla viral campaign of people playing the alpha, putting footage up and saying, wow, this is hype, go reserve the game. Don't get Modern Warfare 3, get Battlefield 3. But that's not what they're doing for some reason. For some reason, they're finding people who have footage of this game, and they're flagging it on YouTube, and they're shutting people down for it, and it makes no fucking sense. That's not how you advertise your game, you know what I mean? How many people honestly have the alpha code and have a PC that can play the game? Probably not that many, maybe a couple thousand. So why not let those couple thousand spread the word to other people who can't play the alpha so that they can get hyped for the game? That's what they should be doing, and that's what anyone with a marketing and a business-oriented mind would know that's what you should be doing. Unfortunately, someone at that company doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, and so they're flagging everything. So I kind of weighed it in my mind, and I said, should I do it? Because I could do it, and being that I work with Machinima, chances are, if anything were to happen, I probably could get it undone, but I said, is the risk worth the reward? And I said, probably not. It's probably not worth getting my channel shut down, even temporarily, because these idiots don't know what they're doing. Now, I apologize if this is not true, but I went to the forums, the Battlefield 3 forums, and it blatantly says on there, you're not supposed to give away your alpha code, you're not supposed to record the game, you're not supposed to put videos up, and if you do, we're going to basically shut you down. It says it right there on the forums. So unless some overzealous moderator put something up on the forums that's completely wrong, that's the attitude that this company is taking. So I'm probably not going to be doing any Battlefield 3 alpha footage, unfortunately. Them's the breaks, okay? So that's it. Mega Week, Megaman Marathon, Hateful Truth Marathon, Super Mario Brothers coming up on Saturday, Back to the Future completes today. I'm excited. This is really going to be a jam-packed week full of content. For a filler week, this is going to be an amazing week. This could have been a really boring, down week, but I think I've pretty much scheduled it up enough that it's going to be pretty amazing. One last thing before we go. Next week, not this week now, but next week, starting on August 11th, I'm taking some more time off. I figured if I'm going to take more time off this year, which I really feel that I need, I should do it before September starts, because as soon as September starts, that's it. The last 4 months of the year, as you know, most of the major releases get released, and some days, literally some days, like this certain day in October, there's like 6 games that come out on the same day. It's absolutely ass fucking insane. So I said I'm going to take some more downtime where I'm probably not going to have any consistent footage coming up on my channel or anywhere. But there may be, just like I did last time, there may be a playthrough that I do release eventually. But for the most part, it's going to be, 4 days of me just kind of relaxing with no new footage. So that's starting on August 11th. I'll talk a little bit more about that next week in next week's Weekend Preview video. So, alright, that's it for the Weekend Preview for July 31st. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was very informative, and I will see you guys for Back to the Future.